Today's lesson is about sampling technique. Your objective says, I can analyze a sampling method and determine if it is valid or not. We're going to start out today with a cut and paste activity focusing on vocabulary, so you should have picked up the handout from me. First, you're going to cut apart each card. Then you're going to make a chart that looks like this. So it's really sort of an H chart where you have 3 columns. This is going to take up an entire page in your interactive math notebook. The first column, you're going to glue in your word. Second column, the definition that matches that word. And then the third column, an example that demonstrates that word. So cut the cards apart, make a chart, and then in the video, you're going to learn the correct definitions. So what you need to do is, on your own, you're going to match the example, and we are going to check your chart against the answer key tomorrow. Find the word population, and I want you to put that as your first word in the first column. Then find the definition that matches it. The definition is the entire group of items or individuals from which the samples under consideration are taken. So the important idea here is that this is the entire group. So glue population as your first term, glue this definition as your first definition, and then find what you think might be the example of this and glue that as your first entry in the example column. Remember, we're going to check this tomorrow. Our second term is sample. Find that and glue it in your first column. The definition of a sample says, a randomly selected group chosen for the purpose of collecting data. So when you find that definition, glue it in the middle column. And then finally, if you can find the example, glue that in the last column. Pause me, work that out, and then come back when you're ready for our next definition. The term random sample means a sample in which every person or thing has an equally likely chance of being used in the survey or experiment. I want you to glue in the term, the definition, and the example you feel matches. Pause and come back when you're ready for the next term. The next term says representative sample, and that means the sample that attempts to mirror the population, just with a smaller number included. Glue this term, its definition, and example. Pause while you're working and come back when you're ready for the next term. The next term is sample of convenience, and that means a sample in which the surveyor uses whomever is handy to take the survey. Go ahead and glue in your term, definition, and example. Pause me while you're working. When you're ready, come back. A voluntary sample is our next term. It means a sample made up of people who self-select into the survey. Often, these folks have a strong interest in the main topic of the survey. Word, definition, and example. Pause while you're gluing them in. Come back when you're ready for the next term. Sample size means the number of individual samples measured or observations used in a survey or experiment. Pause while you are gluing in your term, definition, and example. Come back when you're ready for the next word. All right, this should be our last term. It says valid sample. It is a sample which is representative of a population because the sampling method is unbiased. So, pause while you glue your term, definition, and example, and then come back when you're ready for checking. Okay, so let's look at some examples of these vocabulary words, and we're going to decide if our samples are good or not. And if they're not good, what's the problem? So it says we want to know the favorite sport of students from Wilson. So our population is students from Wilson. And we're going to draw a class from every grade level out of a basket with all of the classes in it to determine who we are going to survey. So we are going to look for our sampling method, and it says that we are going to draw a class from every grade level. Out of a basket means it's random, and we have all the classes in it. So I think that this one is probably a pretty good survey. It is random because we're drawing out of a basket. It is representative because every grade level is in there. And it's just a small portion of our population of students at Wilson. So we're surveying the students. We have every grade level. It is random. I think it's pretty good. Here's another example. We need to figure out, is it good or not good? So we want to know the favorite dog in Illinois. So our population, we want to know about favorite dogs in Illinois. And so then we're going to look at our method, and we're going to poll dog owners only in Moline. So what are you thinking? Yes, it's good. No, it's not. I think this one's probably got a problem. If I want to know about all of Illinois, all of Illinois, I probably should ask more than just the people in Moline. That is not random, and it's not representative. All right, you try this one. It says we want to vote on who had the best geography project in the 7th grade. We pull Mr. Johnson's room. Is this one okay, or does it have a problem? Pause me while you're thinking, and then come back and check what I think. All right, our population. We want to know projects in all of the 7th grade. Our method, we're just going to ask Mr. Johnson's room. So I'm thinking this is no good. It's not random. Mr. Johnson's room is a convenient sample. They're probably biased for the kids in their own room. And it's not representative of everybody in the 7th grade. So no, that's not a good sample. Try this one on your own. Is it good, or does it have a problem? It says Mrs. Weeks wanted to know what kind of pizza to order for her classes. She puts all the student names in her basket and draws out half of them for the survey. Yes, it's good. No, it's not. Okay, so let's look at our population. I want to know about Mrs. Weeks' classes. So I'm going to look at my method. I have all the student names in a basket, and I'm picking half of them. Well, that's random, and it's representative because I have all the student names in there. So I'm thinking this one is okay. Okay, try this one on your own. What do you think? Is it good, or does it have a problem? It says we want to know the favorite music of all the 7th graders. We poll the teachers at a staff meeting. Our population is 7th graders. So we look at our method, and we're finding teachers at a staff meeting. Well, I think there's some problems here. First of all, that's not representative of 7th graders. And second of all, that would be a convenient sample. So this is a big, giant no. That is no good. Okay, again, I want you to read this one. Decide if you think it's yes, a good sample, or no, it's not a good sample. All right. We want to find out about how many people drive a Dodge Viper in the Quad Cities. That is our population. So our sampling method says we're just going to check the high school parking lots. And so I'm thinking, since Dodge Vipers are pretty expensive, that we're probably not going to find a whole lot in the high school parking lot, because that is, number one, not representative. If I want to find Dodge Vipers anywhere in the Quad Cities, that means I have to look in lots of different places, not just in a high school parking lot, which would happen to be convenient. So anytime you have a convenient sample, this is no good. No. The reason we're deciding whether we have a good sample or not is because if you have a good sample, then you can make predictions. Okay, this is actually video question number 1. I apparently forgot to type that in. Video question number 1. So you're going to need out your paper, and you're going to write your answers to these 5 questions. Turn it in at the beginning of class tomorrow so I can sort you into the appropriate group. So it says, as I'm walking in the mall, I see a kiosk that says I can get all of these products for free just for taking a short survey. I'd gladly fill in the form and take my free products with me. Is this sample valid or not valid, and why? It should or should not be used to predict information about the population. So on your paper, you are telling me valid or not valid, why, and whether it should or should not be used. All right, here is video question number 2. I forgot to type that in. Same idea. You're going to look at the data. Basketball, 10 people thought that was their favorite sport. 5 people liked baseball as their favorite sport. 17 people liked football and 52 liked soccer. Keeping in mind this data was collected at a World Cup soccer match, it can then be concluded that our sample is valid or invalid because of this reason, and it can or cannot be used to make predictions. Pause while you're working. Come back when you're ready for question number 3. All right, video question number 3. You're going to determine if this method is valid. Another word for that, by the way, that you might see is unbiased. Okay, a representative from a cable company randomly calls 100 of their customers to determine the number who receive movie channels. Of these, 15% do have movie channel access. So you're either going to tell me that it is valid or invalid. It's one of those two. Decide and write your answer down. Okay, here's video question number 4. Again, you're going to tell me if the sampling method is valid or invalid. Sometimes people call a valid or a good sample unbiased. You might see that word. An electronics store just received a huge shipment of video games. Kenny has been put in charge of making sure the goods are not damaged. There are 350 boxes and 50 games in each box. Kenny decides to take the nearest 5 boxes and check for damages. He finds only 2 damaged video games. Is Kenny's sampling method valid or invalid? Write your answer down and come back for question number 5. Okay, here's question number 5. Miguel is the manager of a clothing store. He wants to find out what are the most popular styles of men's pants and how many of each to order. He decides to survey every 10th man that walks in over a 2-week period. Here are his results. So 52 people like jeans, 31 like khakis, and 17 like slacks. To determine what type of sample Miguel uses for the survey, you might want to go back to that chart we started at the beginning of the lesson to see your types of samples. Don't forget to put your name on your paper and turn this in at the beginning of class tomorrow.